Guys, fans out there, this is actually my second radio show. I had one in Hawaii when I lived there. But I grew up in Cleveland and played baseball from the age of probably about 7 to about 18. My brother was a art. In fact, I saw a little article about him today. I sent it to him. Yeah, he beat this guy named Phil Lavin. Not Phil. I think it was Bob Lavin, 145 pounds from Maple Heights, which is a great, they have a great wrestling tradition here in Ohio. And he had beaten him. He was the only the one who beat a Maple Heights wrestler at that time. Anyways, I had actually sent my brother Art that article today because as I'm going through all my records, I found that. I was a big baseball fan. I'd go up in the attic with my Hires root beer, I think it was Hires, and pretzel sticks, and I'd be recording all the batting averages, and I wasn't too good at the earned run average, but I could tell you every player's batting average in the whole league. I was like 9 years old, and I liked baseball. Football, Cleveland. One thing about Cleveland is it's a championship sports town. At least it used to be. And the way the Browns are playing right now, 3-11, it's not looking very good. Even though they almost beat, they didn't almost beat them, but they were close in the fourth quarter to the Buffalo Bills, who had I think they were 11-3 or something like that. They had a pretty good record. So I'm a Cleveland fan, and like I said, I lived in Hawaii for 40 years. When I always said to myself, every year, if Cleveland can win the championship, I'm coming back home. And anybody who knows about Cleveland, especially if you're from Cleveland, you know that Cleveland hadn't won any kind of national championship in 50 years since Jim Brown and Woody Hayes and everything. So I was happy that the Ohio State Buckeyes did win the national championship last year. And they lost a tough game to Oregon this year. It was close, I just like a good game. I'm very competitive. My guy doesn't always have to win, or my team doesn't always have to win. But this podcast, I'm going to try to give a go at it about sports in general. I'm not the biggest expert, but especially if you ask me about girls' high school basketball in Hawaii, I am pretty much of an expert there. But I remember I was a referee of wrestling in Hawaii. I wrestled in here in Cleveland. I started in ninth grade. I was like the only one from our school who practiced with the Cleveland Heights High School wrestling team. They actually had a wrestling tournament. I didn't enter it because I knew I'd kill everybody because I'm wrestling this guy named John Russ, a starter, and we're working out together all the time. So I didn't get good against him, but I could definitely beat any junior high school student. But my record as a sophomore, which is 10th grade, was 1-2. Or was that? No, I think it was 0-1. As a sophomore, I was 1-2 as a junior, and finally as a senior. Actually, I didn't start out very good. I think I started out like 1-4, but then I won about 5 matches straight and ended up with a 6-4 record, which is pretty respectable. But honestly, for 40 years, I thought I was just average. It was 5-5. But some guy, I was doing this blog on wrestling, and some guy gave me, I think it was the Parma High School against Cleveland Heights, which the plain dealer did not carry it for whatever reason, and he showed me the results. It could have been Garfield. I think it was Garfield, actually. And I actually won that match against their 145, so that changed my life a little bit because instead of being a 5-5 wrestler, I was actually 6-4, which means I was a winning wrestler. So I don't count the sectionals where I lost a match, but the whistle blew and from another mat, and I don't know if my coach ever told us that when the whistle blows, don't stop wrestling till the referee tells you. But for whatever reason, I stopped, and that actually is the reason why I started studying this thing, because I want to know, how good I was. So I started in Hawaii about 2012, studying my own record and Cleveland records, and Cleveland. How good I was, so I had to look up I'd go to the library every day, and I'd lay it all out. I went to the library to get all the microfilm, whatever, and all the matches that happened during that year, and I pinpointed every 138-pound wrestler in Cleveland, northern Cleveland, and I found the ones I beat, the ones who beat the ones I beat. I kind of come up with this little formula on if A beats B and B beats C, then they can beat C, and it works out about 85% of the time. Cleveland's the center of sports. Anybody from Cleveland, we know it. It's winter over here. We don't have Broadway shows or opera, or we just have sports. I hate to say it, but it's a working man's town, and everybody likes sports. And in the winter, we do wrestling. Okay, so nobody. To cut to the chase, when you're wrestling, you don't know how good any other state is or any other city, or you don't know nothing. All you do is you just wrestle the guy in front of you. Well, later on, I found out that Oklahoma and Iowa and I think and Iowa State, I guess, were like the powerhouses in wrestling because, like I said, I studied wrestling a little bit. I mean, a lot. I was like every day, basically. I was semi-retired. And so, but what I've come to know is that Maple Heights, they went 5 years without a loss, of dual meet loss. The coach was Milkovich, Mike Milkovich. He died about 3 years ago. I went actually to a bunch of parties for him. He was like 96 years old, But Maple Heights had the best team. But they were like in a different league. And they were actually in the Greater Conference League. And they had schools like East Lake North and Mentor and Bedford, some good schools. But I wrestled in even a better league called the Lake Erie League, and they had the greatest teams like Valley Forge and Euclid and Parma and Garfield Heights. And this 1969, when I wrestled, I mean, it could have been 2014 or 1961, or it didn't matter. I wouldn't know the difference. But as I go back to check on it, this 1969, the year that I wrestled, actually, it turned out to be a phenomenal year. There were 4 top teams in our conference fighting for the championship. There's a 4 or 3. I know it was Garfield, Euclid, Valley Forge. I think maybe it was those 3. Can you imagine the league with 3 teams with identical records? That means that they only lost 1 or 2 times in the year and fighting for the championship. Well, the team I was on, Cleveland Heights, my brother actually took 4th in the state a couple of years before me. And in fact, I wrestled on the same mat against Maple Heights, 145 pounds. We actually almost beat Garfield Heights. The score was 19-17. I got all the scores, all the wrestlers. I can tell you everything about that. And Maple Heights, they came. The coach Milkovich came about 1952. He took over, and I think they won the state championship in 55 and 56, and then not again until like 62 and 63. But started in 1966. The oldest son, Mike Milkovich, won a state championship. One of his younger brothers, Dan, come 3rd in the state, and they became a dynasty. There's been 3 major dynasties in Cleveland wrestling. I think West Tech was pretty good back in the 50s, but might have been one other school, maybe Euclid, I can't remember. It's been Maple Heights from about 1966 to 1974. Sometime around, maybe it was mixed until St. Ed's and Walsh Jesuit came to the scene sometime probably in the 90s. I wasn't even in town. I was, like I said, in Hawaii from 2000. I was there from 1976 to 2016, 40 years. But as I would study it. Okay, here I am, 20, I don't know. I'm out of high school. Actually, I got hepatitis when I was in college. My last year, I was 21, so sometime around 1970. So, because that kind of gave up my sports career, because I remember going to Cleveland State wrestling practice, just to work out and stay strong. And but I had hepatitis. I was very sick, and I couldn't make it like 30 seconds. I had to like take an hour to recuperate right on Euclid Avenue in front of a tree. So I'm talking about, but I always was a sports fan, okay? So because Cleveland stopped winning back in, must have been in the 68, 69, probably if they would have kept on winning, and especially if I would have been married at that time, I would have definitely stayed in Cleveland. But they weren't winning, and I'm a sports fan, and I want to see what the world is like. So I packed up and moved out west, and I stopped by. I've been to 46 states already. Or no, not probably about 36 states. But I moved to California, but that was too close to Mexico for me, too much pollution. So I kept on going west until I got to Honolulu, Hawaii, and I did time sharing for a while. I was a salesman because Hawaii's a lot slower than the East Coast of the United States. Everything is a slow pace there, so I was pretty aggressive. So basically, whatever I touched, I succeeded at. I sold solar water heating equipment, and I did photography with birds and time sharing, of course. I did that. I was like the biggest guy in Honolulu and Waikiki doing that. But I always wanted to keep on watching, the Ohio State football and see if they can win. But I did get involved a little bit. I was a referee for high school back in about 2012, I guess. And so, I'd work out with the younger kids. I actually was better than their 145-pound starter at Punahou High School, same high school that Barack Obama went to. In fact, he used to play in this park right around the house over there. Anyways, I would, watch the games, the Ohio State football. And but the one thing I did do was I went to a lot of the girls' basketball games. In fact, I remember sitting with the coach. I can't remember his name, but I was also a part-time teacher. I taught at Marino High School, and they had the second-best team in the state. And I was a substitute teacher, so I'd sit in the luncheon room with him. He's pretty famous there in Hawaii, and I'd give him. I wrote up a speech for the girls' basketball team that I wanted him to say to the players, like at halftime, and so they would win. Basically, just play like there's no tomorrow, and give everything you got, and think that you're the best.
Keep going.
And you will probably succeed in that. And actually, I'd go to the games, and there was this one guy I remember from, I think it was Punahou High School, and he'd get up there and try to get the crowd real excited about the game and stuff like that. I watched him 3-4 times. The whole crowd loved him. And one day he never showed up. So guess who took his place? It was me, And I had a big mouth, and I'm walking up and down, yelling like a cheerleader, and I was on TV, actually. I still have the tape of that one. Who's this old guy, who's rearing up everybody. In fact, for the state championship game, I wanted to sing Hawaii Pono'i, which is the Hawaii State song. I think I called up, but then either they said they had somebody or they're going to put a recording on, But I'm a pretty outgoing person. I was shy when I was younger, but I kind of grew out of that, and I like to express my feeling, That's really about the sports angle of it. I would go to the games, and I was, like I said, a referee, and luckily they allowed us to go to any school we wanted. That was kind of almost like a dream job, being a referee. So after 3 o'clock, I was semi-retired, I guess, and I'd go to different high schools and work out with all the young wrestlers, so I can stay in shape. And I'd sit there in the corner, and they'd put everybody up against me. Actually, the girls' state champ, we were wrestling together, and she couldn't escape from me. I couldn't believe it, But it was you just pick up that right ankle, and then you put a tight waist in with your left hand, and she couldn't escape. And then when she got on top of me, I couldn't escape, which kind of surprised me. But it was good. I enjoy sports. High school did not have many sports. They did have the rainbow football team. I once, to the coach there, I sent a packet for all the players, like a little sports packet about the team and stuff like that. And of course, the coach never said, "Oh, thank you for sending that," or whatever. But he was a nice, great coach. I've always had it in the back of my mind if Cleveland could win a championship, I'm coming back home because Hawaii, no doubt, is the greatest place in the world. Okay, I'll never take anything away from it. But I went there at 26. I'm 66 after 40 years, and basically enough is enough. I start seeing the friends I had in Hawaii start dying, but they weren't my high school friends. They're nothing like your high school friends. So between wanting to be back with my high school friends, who I had tons of friends here in Cleveland, I still do, and some are dying. Some died already, because I'm 74 years old already. So, anyways, that what happened in 2016 is Kyrie Irving hit that three-pointer, and Cleveland won the game. What I do regret, one of my regrets in life, is not getting a sign and walking down Euclid Avenue before he decided to move to another team. If he could see like all these Clevelanders who really wanted him to stay, like me, maybe he would have stayed in Cleveland. But of course, it didn't work out that way, and he won his couple of championships in Los Angeles. We're talking about LeBron James, okay. But when they won, I packed up the bags with my wife and 3 kids, and we came back to Cleveland, and I've been here ever since. I do like watching college wrestling, okay. I got real bored with the high school wrestling. Too boring for me. But anyways, this is more recently because, like I said, I wrestled back in the 60s, so these 4-time state champs didn't really come until probably like the last 10, 20 years, So we're talking about Brett Metcalf and Carter Starassi, who just is a 5-time champ recently. And you got Kyle Dake, who won 4 championships in 4 different weight classes. Rutherford was not a 4-time champ, but a couple other ones I can't right now. I'd have to Pat Smith and Sanderson. Now Gable, quick story about Gable. He's only a 2-time national champ. The first year, not his fault, but they didn't allow freshmen to wrestle varsity, so he didn't have an opportunity to win that. I did check who won it that year, 1967, and he might have won it then. There were a couple other guys that were pretty good. He beat a guy named Don Bem from Michigan State University in the Midlands tournament, and Bem was national champ. So I'll never take anything away from Dan Gable. I'm sure very few people know it, but he actually almost moved to Michigan State along with Grady Penninger. A lot of the people from Oklahoma, for whatever reason, moved out to the Midwest, and I think a lot of them just hung out at Michigan State University, who won their first national championship in 1966, I think it was. Could have been 67, but I think it was 66. Dale Anderson and Don Bem were the big wrestlers back then. And Sanderson was a great coach, okay? Him, the Brand brothers, and Dan Gable. I mean, phenomenal coaches, okay? So, but we're talking about Sanderson's record, 159-0 in college. But I'm studying the weight classes and the conferences, and Ohio, the Big Ten was a much stronger conference than the Big 12. Sanderson wrestled from 1999 to 2002, and Sanderson did have 4 years in high school, and he had a redshirt year, which actually made him a little bit older than the other wrestlers. I guess in earlier ages, back in the 60s, they didn't allow red shirts or anything like that. You just had to wrestle straight through 7 years. So Sanderson was a fantastic. Right now he's the top coach in the country for Penn State, and no team wants to have a dual meet against Penn State because they're going to lose. Now this year Ohio State does have a very good team. They just lost to Iowa. I think it was 21-12 or something like that, or 14. So Sanderson did help make Penn State, a powerhouse like they've been like for the last 10 years. Anyways, so my idea of this podcast is to talk about sports. Whoever wants to talk about sports. I'm writing a book about wrestling, so if anybody wants to ask questions about high school wrestling, I actually consider myself an authority now because college wrestling, because nobody sat there and studied the subject for like 10 years or 8 years like I've done. So, eventually I want to get this into speaking about wrestling, college wrestling, and about who people want to throw in different names, who they think are the best wrestlers ever, and why. And I would like to let's debate that, because that's always there's not really been a clear number one. I had thought it was really Sanderson and Gable, the top two, but I see a couple other ones have come about pretty strongly. So that's what most people don't know about wrestling. I know they see it right now that Penn State has the best team, but still, what they didn't know is that most of the people from Penn State and Michigan State and probably most of the good teams, they was like a transformation from the West Coast to the East Coast. So, but what they didn't know is how strong Iowa, Oklahoma, and Oklahoma State were back in the 40s, 50s, 60s. Yeah, but they're still strong. But what they don't know back in the 60s was that Ohio actually had the best wrestlers in the country. So I do like talking about the Lake Erie League. There were like 10 teams back in the 1967 to 69. The 10 teams were Valley Forge, Parma, Euclid, Garfield, Cleveland Heights, Brush, Shaw, Shaker, Normandy, and Lakewood. Lakewood was down in the cellar at that point, and Normandy was not far behind. So really there were only like 8 teams. But these 8 teams, especially like Shaw High School, they had a good heavyweight, and they could compete with anybody in the league, except maybe for Maple Heights. They probably would have drenched them. But even Euclid actually beat Cleveland Heights 35-5. I still have to go through the records to figure out exactly how that happened. Maybe we had a couple sick guys or something like that. But we gave other teams. Even I just found out recently, besides Garfield, Valley Forge. No, the one who beat us was Euclid, 35-5. But Valley Forge, I think they only beat us 21-17. So if we would have had one more good wrestler and they would have had one more bad wrestler, we would beat Valley Forge. Valley Forge had the best meet in 1968 against Maple Heights. It came down in the last match. Maple Heights won something like 19-16 or whatever in the match, and it was so just the 60s were just a very exciting time period for high school wrestling at that time. So I went to Hawaii. I worked at a place called CC's Pizza, and I was a dishwasher. And I remember I got into time sharing somehow, and I plugged my phone into the tree because I had to always act like I was giving away these tickets for people to attend the 90-minute timeshare promotion. And so I would book the people's tickets in advance so that they think they really have something. So I remember one guy looked at the cord and said, how does he have it plugged into the tree? Anyways, there was no electricity there. I just made up the whole thing. But I was in sales. I spent 2-3 years in solar hot water heating sales. And then I went into time sharing. I was the top guy in Hawaii. There's three people there. A guy named Homer Stevens had the phone, so anybody wanting to get free tickets on the cruises or the luau's or the I'm not sure what Pearl Harbor. That was always a big one. Or rent a car. Homer would get them. There's a guy named Jerry Greenside who had the beach. He'd get 8-10 people show up a day, just passing out those flyers, and he basically had the whole thing. A couple of times other people would go on the beach also, but basically it was him. And me, Chuck Balcher, I had the street. So anybody who walked the streets up and down Waikiki, basically they worked for me. There were a couple other small outfits out there, but one day we got 250. 1 week we got 250 people to show up to the timeshare promotion, and I don't know if I made we grossed $12,500 in 1 week, which I had two secretaries count the money. I gave them all a free steak dinner at Scissor Steakhouse, and I walked away with $4,500 that week. So, in fact, I got so good at sales that I didn't really care about sales anymore. I kind of said, you know what, I just want to be like human again. So I kind of gave all that stuff up. But I did the bird pictures. I had 100 parrots, and we'd walk up and down the street and sell photos for $20 each, mostly the Japanese. In fact, I wanted to learn Japanese, so I moved to Japan for a couple of years, 2.5 years, and I learned how to speak Japanese. Watashi no namae wa Charles-san desu. That means that my name is Charles. And I went there, and I had to walk into the newspaper place and give them the little Japanese I knew, and put ads in, and then people would call me, so I talked to them in basically mostly English, but Japanese also. And every lesson I would go over these stories, and people would tell me a story in English and in Japanese. So finally, I remember I had this one student who gave me the story in Japanese and in English, and she was wrong, and I corrected her. I said, no, that's not what it is. So at that point, I knew that I knew enough Japanese. I was coming back home. So, and that's it. I've always liked sports. Like I said, I used to watch the Indians games and the Browns. The Browns had a good team with Jim Brown and Leroy Kelly, I think, was the halfback. And actually, I sent Leroy Kelly a friend request for Facebook. He never gave it back. But I knew I liked watching football and baseball, and it was like that was what a kid is like in Cleveland. You watch baseball in the summer, you watch football in the fall, and you watch basketball. The Cavaliers were never a good team back then, so. I don't think anybody watched them. I watched a couple games, but they weren't really that very good. So, but I was always been into sports. I'd go to the local swimming pool and do my laps. Mainly when I was working out for the Cleveland Heights High School team. I wanted to be in good shape. I lifted weights. I weighed 145 pounds in high school, but after high school, I got a job at Cedar Point. It was great, and. But I worked out, so I went up to 175 pounds, where I stayed my whole life, basically 175. I went up to 178 once, never over 180. I was a big weightlifter. In fact, I played handball too, pretty good handball player. Didn't like the one with the racquetball, I guess they call it. Pickleball I don't like very much either. Sorry about that for all the people that love that sport. A lot of my friends love it. But... Basically, I've been in sales all my life. Like I said, I did time sharing, bird photography. I had my own cleaning business. We'd go to people's houses, my wife and I, and we'd clean up their place, charge them about $300-400, for like a 5, 6, 7 hour job, whatever it took, So I've always been in business for myself, always done things for myself. I did want to mention that, I get passionate about lots of things, and I get straight off course because I think the main thing people want to do in life is find out, what we're here for, what's the real reason, and me too. So if there's something I don't understand, I will research it, until I become, until I know how to do it, how to solve the problem. I did that with my senior year in college at Stillman Hall at Ohio State University. I never took a note in college. I figured if it wasn't worth knowing, I didn't want to know it. My statistics teacher, he called me in and said, "Look, if you don't write this report, I can't pass you." But I said, "Look, I'm reading philosophy books, so Heidegger and Bertrand Russell and a lot of the existential thinkers." So I actually went to, when I was a social worker, they had a course. I took a class in philosophy, master's class. This was a time when Cambodia was being overrun by the Americans, and it was pretty serious back then with Nixon, I think, was the president. And so I kind of got out of college. I think I went for one day. I thought life, had to have more meaning than what I was doing there. What I should have done, not should have done, but one little regret that I could have gone 1 year. I already had a bachelor's in social work. If I would have gone one more year in the master's program, which they would have paid for, I'm sure they would have made me a supervisor as soon as I come back with a master's degree in 1 year, but instead of 2 years. But I was very anxious to get on with my life, so I moved to Massachusetts for a couple of years. Loved it there, Amherst, Massachusetts, Northampton. That's probably the prettiest place in the country right there. And I had a car business. I would buy and sell cars. I've done that mostly all my life. Fix up the car, do body work, stuff like that. So I try to. Somebody should always have an ad in the paper selling something, because you'll always have an income coming in. My son likes storage lockers, so in fact, I look at one today. I might. You can get these lockers for like $10. People's life possessions all wrapped up in one locker. So that's basically you got to empty out the locker in 3 days, which is a little bit of a problem, but you do that, and I've always I'm just interested in helping people out and learning things, and leave no stone unturned, and I want to be very knowledgeable. I think my mother taught me that. Get all the facts, or just learn what you have to. So back in Hawaii, okay. So I'd lay out all these different box scores for all these schools, and I'd go through each one of them to find out basically where the 138. I was a 138 wrestler, 138 pounds. So I had to find out every 138-pound wrestler and who they wrestled and who they beat, and if I could have beaten them, because I beat certain people, and that's the only way to find out how good you are is who did you beat, and the people that you beat, who did they beat, and that was my method there, because I didn't. The method was not if somebody beats somebody else, and they're not going to lose to the next person. That's just the way it came out. So I studied it for like 2-3 years, And then even my book right now, I get sidetracked a little bit because, like all these, Carter Cerasi has all these tapes out, his matches, and, I kind of would like to watch some of his matches and some of the Hall of Fame speeches that these wrestlers gave. And the Hall of Fame, I read every one of them, like what they accomplished. There were a lot of referees in there, people that started programs. They weren't really wrestlers. That's the funny thing about it. I think more wrestlers should be in the Hall of Fame than who they got in there, because that's really what the sport is about, how good that you actually did. So that's basically what my book is about. It's about college wrestling and what it was like back. I'm doing like one big era, basically, is 1965 to 1973. I don't know too much, between then and then again the Sanderson era from 1998 or 9 till 2002. So I don't really know too much about the other schools. I'm just like focusing in on Sanderson's career. I appreciate all you folks listening. I think I have a lot to entertain you with as far as, hopefully I've learned that you always will learn at least one thing every day in school, whether or not it's first grade, eighth grade, whatever. Every day we learn something to try to get better and to try to make the world a better place. And I like politics, so if anybody has any anything they want to talk about politics, I'm welcome to talk about that also. But sports is the name of the game, and I'm writing a book about wrestling, so if somebody wants to challenge me about any wrestling fact, if I don't know it, I'll look it up. But we're going to talk about the greatest wrestlers of all time, and that's what the show is going to be about. So if you have any questions about that and you want to come in and chime in and learn about wrestling, thank you all for joining me for this first podcast.